Dear Rentals Club members, we quite often talk about the trend of short-term rental companies moving to long stays. But what do long stay experts have to say about it? I'm very happy today to have Eduardo Garbayo. He's the VP and Head of Business and Operations for Spotahome, and Jorge Alonso. He's the co-founder and VP of Product Engineering for Spotahome. They know quite a few things about the market of stays over 30 days. So we'll be talking about, what the company does. We're talking about the financing round. We'll be talking about what they think about, Airbnb and Booking.com claiming to enter the market, and quite a few other things. Without further ado, Eduardo, Jorge, welcome. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you very much. Just one small clarification there, Thibaut. Unfortunately, I'm not one of the co-founders of Spotahome. I wish, but I came in halfway through.
Yeah, Jorge and I, we came 2-3 years ago. We became part of the management team of Spotahome last year, and Alejandro considers us neo co-founders, right? But it's kind of it's kind of more we are not co-founders by.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for correcting that, because I think I always love to get the right title and the right function. So it's really important. Thanks for getting this right. Speaking of getting this right, can you just maybe each of you explain what you do at the company? I'm curious to know what your function is.
Sure. So I'll start. I currently run 3 verticals within Spotahome. I run the product engineering and marketing verticals. So essentially, I'm responsible for our digital platforms, building, maintaining, and evolving. And everything that has to do with acquisition and branding for Spotahome runs also through my teams.
Yes. Okay. On my side, I'm responsible for all businesses, local countries that we have, central sales, as well as central operations. And how do we transform the company within the operation side?
Thank you, Eduardo. So again, on the same vein of getting things right, so I will read you something that I've seen on your website, and I'd love to see whether you both of you think it's a fair description of what the company does. So Spotahome, it's more than 150,000 properties in more than 100 cities in 28 countries. Spotahome follows a similar business model to online holiday rentals, but instead focuses on finding you a home for stays of a minimum of 30 days, dependent on city regulation. So your platform are 100% online booking platform, offering an exhaustive list of apartments, rooms, studios, and students' residences. You are for anyone, regardless of age or professional status. So is it a fair description?
Yeah, I think it's a fair description.
Yes, well, the only thing I would just make it a bit different is we try not to compare us too much from holiday rentals. Our business is more mid to long term. So we have, yes, over 30 days, but we have more several months contracts as well as long-term contracts. I think that's kind of a bit different from that, but other than that, yes, that's correct.
And if I'm correct, the competitive advantage that you're bringing is like for the tenant market, bringing the ease of use of online short-term rental platforms and booking platforms, right? That's the really meeting of these two worlds. Am I correct?
Well, that's part of it, yes. But we, since we're focused on mid to long-term stays, we also try to, center our value proposition around peace of mind and security for both tenants and landlords, because that's something that when you move to the online world, you might feel that you might be losing part of it, but we try to center our value proposition along those lines, and this is why we verify either in person or remotely most of the homes that we rent in the platform, and also this is why we offer guarantees to both tenants and landlords, relocation guarantees or damage guarantees. And actually last year we launched something that is unique in Europe, which is that we're the first platform that on a pan-EU level we're offering renting with no deposit for tenants, and at the same time offering a guarantee for non-payment or for damages, a bigger guarantee for the landlord. So this is, if we want to sum it up in one word, I would say peace of mind and security as part of bringing the easiness and the hassle-free of the full online model.
And as you said, that's something. The last part is this deposit-free, basically a system, is something that's unique, right? That really makes you stand apart among competitors, right?
It is, yeah.
That's correct. That's correct, because that provides also not only security for the tenant, but also guarantees for the landlord in terms of, any problems with the payment, any problems with damages on the house, they are covered. They have a guarantee, right?
And so guarantee security is important, but during COVID-19, there was another, let's say, a worry that people had, which was obviously the infections and pandemic. And I was just wondering, right, like part of what you offer, part of it is, for example, enabling students to, share together big apartments, right? I could rent a bedroom as a student in a place. So how has COVID-19 affected your business in that sense?
Well, throughout the pandemic, let's say, we of course that was a bit of a problem for us. So first of all, we couldn't verify homes in person, and this is why we had to innovate and start doing remote verifications. And when it comes to our customers, we noticed that there was a jump from rooms to apartments, and students kind of got stalled a bit, and the professional and digital nomads started to use us more in proportion than students. But then, luckily, after the pandemic has passed, or the deeper part of the pandemic has passed, we recovered also part of that audience that we lost in the pandemic. So we ended up, with a clear push towards the digital nomad market, but recovering also students. That was a big chunk of our audience. And we also noticed that throughout the pandemic, plenty of the landlords that were more into vacational rentals moved a bit into the mid to long-term rentals. And we also noticed some small spikes of supply acquisition due to that, because vacational rentals was also quite hit in that period.
Oh, and this so leads me to another question here, actually. And so you saw these people, for example, right now in Netherlands, right, in cities like Amsterdam, the stock of short-term rental listings went down by 17%. And due to COVID-19, also very strong regulations, right? Stronger and stronger regulations, actually. And that could be the case in lots of cities, from Prague to Paris to different cities. So I guess people move to your platform, but what do you think for 2022? Will some of these stock of listings move back to short-term rentals platforms? Or what are you doing to keep these new supply for you on your platform?
Yeah, I mean, we have seen that. We have clearly seen, as Jorge mentioned, a big peak of landlords, vacational landlords joining Spotahome, especially during the pandemic and even afterwards. And what you are referring to in Netherlands, we have seen that also in Barcelona, in Rome, in Berlin, like in touristic cities, right? I think we see two type of players, right? The ones who are only vacational, they only want to be vacational, and they are just using this as a very short-term action. And we see others which are actually testing this business model. They are seeing that there is an opportunity to maximize profitability based on occupation and based on lower cost to manage. And we are a lot of them, they didn't know this market. They were just purely getting bookings from vacational platforms, and they were not actually open to this. However, we have seen that we have, as of now, when tourism has recovered partially, we have kept, 70-80% of them, they are still with us. We have seen a small spike of them with doing vacational during August, maybe, but most of them, they are staying in our business. I think, except the ones which are truly vacational, super high prices, and they really want just very short stays.
I see. Quick question as well. Now looking a bit forward, I think you've just completed an amazing financing round of $29 million. I know you're not co-founders, and I got that now, but still, that's pretty impressive for the whole company, right? Congratulations. So with that money, which commercial because you're both commercial and technical here, so which commercial and technical challenges do you want to solve with using part of this money?
Well, the first thing is that, we want to continue penetrating the markets where we're in, and we're going to heavily invest in penetrating those countries where we originally operate by becoming even stronger on the cities where we're traditionally operating, and also opening up the whole country, expanding across different cities within the country, because we feel that there's a network effect there if we do that both on the supply and on the demand side. So that's one of the things that we want to invest this money on. We'd love to also grow our product and engineering team, see if we can, if we want to solidify this value proposition that I was mentioning before. In 2021, we introduced this new security value proposition with no deposit plus damages, and we want to continue moving and doubling down along those lines and trying to be one of the most competitive, or the most competitive in terms of hassle-free security and warranties proposition for both tenants and landlords. So we'll build also along those lines. Okay. And we want to also, test different countries, different geographies. We want to expand from the countries where we're currently in, or where we've traditionally operated. We started already in 2021, opening up 28 countries in 100 cities, and we want to double down on that expansion as well.
That's a fantastic challenge, right? Of expansion commercially and new things. And I'm very interested in what you talked about, hassle-free and guarantees and a deposit, because that's true innovation, not just around product, but just the I would say programs and services provided. And in the short-term rental industry, somebody who's very early on when they launched thought about this kind of value proposition is like Airbnb, obviously, right? Their host guarantee, $1 million, which is obviously in terms of marketing is really amazing. And so there's also peace of mind, to your point, right? It's very important. And again, this, from what I understand from what you said, these are actually very different things that you both offer. But Airbnb has been talking a lot about the long stay market, especially during the crisis, right? On one hand, things collapsed so much, there was no more short stays, so only long stays. So I guess they had to talk about this. But apparently it is still a big chunk of their business, right? It's 24% of the nights booked in Airbnb in Q1 2021, and 19% of nights booked in Q2 2021. Booking.com as well is actually entering the market. I think there are maybe 2 or 3 markets like the UK and the US. You are the experts here. So what do you think Airbnb or Booking.com can actually learn from Spotahome?
That's a very good question. So, first of all, we respect Airbnb and Booking. So we consider there are 2 companies we can learn from them. So that's clear. Although, yes, the long-term or the mid and long-term rentals, we have been there for longer. And I think we are kind of the experts, at least in Europe. I think we are the digital platform of reference, right? In our experience, mixing both businesses, like short-term and mid-term, is not that easy, either the players have different kind of portfolios, one dedicated to short-term and one dedicated to long-term, or is quite difficult to complement. Why is that? Because short-term usually receives more monthly revenues. However, it also has higher cost to manage. Less occupancies, prices. Short-term prices are super high. So convincing someone to reduce the price so much for mid-term rentals to be right price is kind of difficult. Occupancies, if you have a lot of small bookings across the whole calendar, it's very difficult to get a full mid-term rental properly, right? Also, complexities of the mid-term, different regulation per market. In some markets, you are considered a real estate agent, rental contract, different taxes, deposits, not controlling the end-to-end payments of the landlords. So, we believe it's a fair, complex, also challenge for them. And honestly, when they say 24% or 19% of nights, how many or what proportion are those in number of bookings or even in revenue? Maybe that's even a bit less. So our question mark is whether once COVID is fully out and full touristic is getting booked, are they going to keep this as a line of market? Are they going to get back and reduce priorities? We don't know, so let's see.
And expanding on that, I will ask my last but one question about another company that gets a lot of talked about, right? Both in the short-term rental world and the prop tech world, it's Sunder. So they provide basically, let's say, hotel-like apartment with services. Like they release out, big buildings, and people can have like fully finished apartments in there for a good price. They do basically from A to Z. They really do from the booking to the guest experience, right? Obviously, here, what's interesting to your point, they're actually mixing, right? I could be a traveler there, I can stay here for 3 months, right? They're actually mixing both. So I'm very curious to hear, in a sense, let's imagine where I'm consultant, I need to go to 3 months to Madrid, for example. And if I need to pick a place where to book a place for 3 months, should I go on Sunder or should I go on Spotahome?
That's a super good question. And I mean, we consider Sunder a very relevant company with good quality apartments, So, I mean, we respect Sunder as a company. The reason why I would tell you or why we think it's better to book through Spotahome is because, look, first of all, we are in a lot of markets and we try to keep the same guarantees, same experience across different markets. So whether once you want to go to one market, whether once you want to go to another market, having Spotahome there is always a kind of a trust. I'm booking here in the proper way, right? Second, you will have more choices and availabilities in Spotahome. With Sunder, they will have their portfolio. We will have the portfolio of Sunder. We have the portfolio of hundreds other companies. So you've got more opportunities to choose. Maybe you want Sunder kind of apartments. Maybe you want other kind of apartments with a different budget or a different quality standard, right? Third, by having Spotahome, you have a kind of an independent party that helps you in case there is any issue in the process with the landlord. Sunder would be kind of themselves managing the properties, right? So you are just dealing with the landlord. You are dealing with the person actually having the interest on maximizing their occupation. Mm. I'm not saying Sunder is not going to offer you a good quality service, but you may have companies which may not give you the best quality service. So having someone that is kind of, not kind of referee, but someone that supports you in case there is trouble, who can relocate you to other apartment, who gives you the guarantee that, if you have an issue, you will be covered, right? And you have a customer service that speaks 8 languages. I think that's a superb opportunity. Not to say, we have a secure check-in. So you paid first, but until you enter into the property and you really confirm the property is as described, the landlord doesn't get the money, So you can actually go back if something is not as described, right? So I think, there is an opportunity that Spotahome can serve you maybe better or at least equal, to Sunder.
Thanks, Eduardo, and thanks, by the way, to both of you, because obviously, I'm asking not trick questions, but really questions to help people who are more from the short-term rental world and who have like more in mind, maybe Airbnb or Sunder. They try to see the difference in there. So it's really, really helpful, I think, to start from a reference they have to go into your world. So what could we wish for, your whole team for 2022?
That's a very good question. For us, our goal this year is actually to truly become, we are already one of the most relevant digital platforms of rentals, midterm and long term in Europe, but truly become the number one by far in a lot of markets. So further gain market share in our 11 core cities, to be able to extend our operations to 50 plus cities in our core countries, and to fully launch the 22 new countries we have actually already launched, right? So at least double or even triple our business, and with our current margins, which have been, like really good margins on the last year, right? So I think, Jorge, I don't know if you want to add something, but I think that would be kind of our goal.
That's a great picture for 2022.
And I guess that's the only thing you can wish for you guys to happen. That would be amazing. Thank you again for your time today. And it's fantastic to be talking, obviously with the European success story, which is always great as a fellow European to hear. On that, I just thank you both, Jorge and Eduardo, for your time. And if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way?
So, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. If people want to know more about Spotahome, what's the best way to know about Spotahome?
Well, you should access our homepage, spotahome.com. You'll find ways to contact us there. And more in a professional way, you can always reach us on LinkedIn, where we're both available to chat with anyone.
yeah, we can give you our contact details we have on the email, and yes, that would be the way.
Cool. Thank you to both of you, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Thibaut.
Thank you very much.
For your time.